Hey guys, so recently there's been like a lot of talk about brands who constantly collab with the exact same people over and over and over again. Like for example, you have Morphe and Jaclyn Hill, you got Becca and you got Chrissy Teigen, and it's like the same people just over and over and over again. And then just in general, it's the same people who get collabs from different brands, just period. Like you're always gonna see the same people getting the big collabs. So we're gonna talk about, well, why is it that brands always collab with the same influencers? Okay, so number one is the bigger the influencer, the bigger the attention that collab is going to bring and get. Therefore, the more attention that brand is also going to get. So if you have a big influencer like Nikkie Tutorials or Jaclyn Hill or Jeffree Star or Manny MUA or Laura Lee, they are like the main influencers in YouTube and social media land. They're the main people. So if they're gonna get a collab, the majority of the beauty community are going to know about the collab, and that means that they're going to possibly get more sales. And because you have, like for example, Jaclyn Hill has X amount of millions of followers on both YouTube and on Instagram and Twitter combined, there's going to be a lot more people who are going to know about the collab, as well as the X amount of millions who may already follow that brand. That combined, it's just going to be crazy. The majority of the beauty community are going to be aware of the collab itself. And if you flip it on its head, if it was a brand and a really small influencer, not that it hasn't happened, but a lot of the time you find that people will say, well, who's this? Why are you collabing with that person? We don't even know who they are. For example, when Colourpop, I think it was Colourpop, they did a collab with like these lifestyle bloggers. I think it was like they were like a pair of lifestyle bloggers, and people were like, well, why are they collabing with them for? But then when you find that they're collabing with the big people are like, but it's always the same people. So I guess it's trying to find like this healthy balance, this happy medium. For example, when Colourpop did a collab with Makeup by Shayla, she's not one of the biggest names in the beauty community. A lot of people know about her, but she doesn't have as many followers as say someone like Jaclyn Hill. So even though yes, she can still drum up the audience, she's still smaller in respect to somebody like Jaclyn Hill. So I guess it's getting somebody who is of that kind of level, that maybe people would be a little bit more like, well, now they're starting to branch out and give other people a chance. It looks like people don't want these brands to collab with nobodies, but at the same time they still want to know, or at least have heard of some of the influencers that they are collabing with. I hope that kind of makes sense, because I feel even myself I was a little bit tongue-tied as I was trying to explain that. Brands already know what return to expect when they are dealing with big influencers or influencers they've already dealt with. Like for example, when Nikkie Tutorials did her collab with Too Faced, apparently, allegedly, Too Faced made like 11 million or something to that effect off of the Nikkie Tutorials collab, and she made like 50,000, which was just crazy. But this is all alleged, but you can expect those kind of numbers, and we've heard other brands have apparently made X amount of millions working with the main beauty influencers. So now brands kind of know, depending on what it is that they're selling and how much they're selling it for and how many units that they order or produce, they know roughly how much the return is going to be, because they've already dealt with these bigger influencers. They know roughly how many people are going to buy from them. They've already done the math, as opposed to trying to deal with somebody who has like 50,000 followers, who's probably not had a collab before. They don't know how many people are really invested in them, whether or not half of these people are just bought, because that's another thing that you need to take into consideration as well. So it's kind of like, do we take a chance? Do we not take a chance? Because we don't know what our return's going to be. Because they already know roughly what the return's going to be like with bigger influencers, they tend to stick with them. Chances are they already know the influencer and who they are, what they like, what working with them is like. So they don't have to break the ice, they don't need to build a new relationship. Imagine like, for example, when you were in school and you had to do like a science project or whatever, I remember I would always try and work with my best friend because I already know my best friend and I already know how she works. I know what her ideas are probably going to be like, whether they're similar to mine or different. You just kind of want to work with people that you already know because you know them and you can understand how they work. And if you, especially if you get on, that's even better. But working with somebody that you have not worked with before, you then have to build a new relationship. You need to break the ice, you need to get to know them, you need to try and understand what they're about. I'd rather work with my bestie, someone that I know. Maybe that's not everybody, but I think that's another contributing factor, because when I remember when the whole situation with Morphe and Jaclyn Hill was going on, you know, Jaclyn Hill was just singing Linda's praises. Linda is one of the co-owners of Morphe, and she's like, she will never lie to me and we speak to each other every single day. And yes, it may be on a business level, but it also seemed to me, even from her previous videos where she's spoken about Linda, it seems like they have some kind of understanding, some kind of relationship, like they're cool. And when it's relaxed like that, it's just easier for people to work together, I would presume. Lastly, and I think this is definitely something that I am guilty of, the people who bought the last collab are most likely to want to buy the next one. So here's what I mean. It's like the collection mindset, I guess. So I know that a lot of people who bought the Jaclyn Hill Morphe favorites also bought the Jaclyn Hill palette and then bought the Jaclyn Hill Vault collection and the brushes because they wanted to collect everything. And I'm kind of guilty when it comes to Juvia's Place eyeshadow palettes and the Makeup Revolution chocolate bar palettes. I know that those aren't collabs, but I'm just kind of in the mindset of I want to own every single one of them. When I go through like Trend Mood's comments on like round 2 and round 3 collabs, there's a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, I bought the first one or the first 2, so I'm definitely gonna get this. Do you think that brands aren't watching that? Brands are definitely watching that, and they see that round 2, round 3, it's almost a way to guarantee sales because people want to get the entire collection. Not everybody's mind is like this, but a lot of people's mindset is that way, that if I have this one, then I should get that one as well, just to complete the collection. But as I said, not everybody's mindset is that way, but there are a lot of people who are that way. Lastly, this is just something that I'm throwing out there, but it's not necessarily like one of the points that I'm trying to make exactly. It's just something to think about. Morphe, they did a collab with someone called Desi Danger. I don't know who Desi Danger is, but they came up with like a 9-pan like highlighter face palette kind of thing, and a lot of people were like, who is Desi Danger? Like, who is that? Do you reckon that a lot of the smaller collabs that these brands do are just overshadowed by the collabs that they do with bigger influencers? Because like, is it because they're marketing the bigger influencer collabs more and not marketing the smaller collabs as much? Do you just think that because it's this bigger person's name that immediately they get more attention? Because I know that smaller collabs do happen, they do most definitely happen, but you just don't hear about it as much. So are the bigger influencer collabs just overshadowing the smaller ones? What do you think? Because I reckon that that's what it could be. I don't think that the smaller collabs are being marketed as much as the bigger ones are. So I think that's what's happening. I don't think that smaller influencers aren't getting those opportunities. I just don't think that they're getting, I don't think that they're being marketed as big and as wide and as broadly as some of these bigger influencer collabs. I don't know, let me know what you think down below. Maybe there's some points that I've missed that maybe you're thinking about that I haven't thought about. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.